Come on, come back in here. It's warm. Alright, so in this video we're going to go over how to stay warm while living in a van. Warm in van? Okay. So by the end of this video, you're gonna know how to insulate your own conversion and how to stay warm in freezing temperatures. It really starts with insulation. That was definitely the biggest consideration for us when we were doing our conversion. We knew that it didn't really matter what heating mechanism we used for the winter if the actual structure itself wasn't really well insulated. So kind of our method and design to deal with that was to completely block off the front, so you can see there's just like a complete wall here. In the back we have another wall which separates our garage. And this really gives us the ability to regulate the space in between these two walls. So that would be the first thing I would suggest to do. So the next big thing that you want to consider is your windows. For us, we have several windows on both sides since we're in a small school bus. But whether you're in a school bus or you're in a van with fewer windows, you need to figure out some way to have insulation on them so that it doesn't allow heat to escape. So we just got these really simple, energy efficient blackening curtains that we just put down at nighttime and during the day when it's really cold outside, and it helps to not let any cold air get in or out. We live in Colorado. It's snowy a couple months out of the year, and more so the deeper in the mountains that you live. And the sun here is extremely potent, so when the sun comes out, even if it's been blizzarding outside, it creates a really nice greenhouse effect and just helps heat the space, which is awesome. We wanted to leave the windows open, one, for that greenhouse effect to be able to happen during the winter, but also there are 4 season changes in Colorado, and when it's fall or spring, we wanted to have the option to lower the windows and get a nice cross breeze.
So, one way that we stay warm is with this little propane guy. It's called the Portable Buddy by Mr. Heater. Got it at Walmart. It's supposedly safe inside. That's what it says on the box. And if you look right here, we have a carbon monoxide alarm, and it has not gone off yet. So the only thing that we would still have to worry about is that it's going to burn out all the oxygen in the air. But apparently it has a regulator, so if it starts to burn out the oxygen, it'll turn itself off. This thing's great for like really small spaces. With that in mind, we've realized that parts of the bus, it's able to kind of separate, to segregate a little bit. So put a curtain up here to the bed area, and then if you open up this door, then it kind of separates everything here. So at nighttime, when we want to get, or in the morning, when we want to get the bed area really hot, I'll just open this door and put the heater back here so it only has to heat this area without having to heat the front area. It works really well for small spaces for limited times, but I wouldn't recommend leaving it on like overnight or anything like that. It just uses these 16-ounce propane tanks, which are fantastic, and we're actually just learning how to refill these off the big containers too, so pretty practical with that. The main guy that we use to keep warm though is our Cubic Mini heater, or I'm sorry, a Cubic Mini wood stove, which acts as a heater and a cooker. So I really love this guy. If you live in a Sprinter van, I have seen somebody install this in the Sprinter van, and their comments were that it gets too hot. With that in mind though, it's kind of a good idea to let it get too hot and then vent it so that you have fresh air coming in all the time. It's also really great because we have to keep it warm in here all night. Like, we can bundle up with as many blankets as we want, and we do have a ton of blankets that I'll show you here in a second. But it doesn't really matter because we only have one cat that's guaranteed to sleep in the bed with us, guaranteed to sleep in a warm spot, and the other two kind of just roam around here. I noticed when I have this going, they always cuddle up on the floor right in front of the wood stove. They really like it. So it's really important to us to make sure we have something to regulate the temperature while we're sleeping that feels safe. One other thing that we really like to do here in Colorado is to boil water on our wood stove to get some humidity in the air. And once it fills up with some nice steam in here, it stays warm and it warms up a lot faster. So we'll fill both these pots up with water when this thing's really roaring and let the water vapors just fill this whole area, which really doesn't take long with 126 square feet. So with blankets, let me show you those. This is kind of a double use. We just hung a rod right here that initially we had all our clothes hung on a long time ago. But since then we've moved those to the front. And now we hang our blankets right here. So we have a really nice sleeping bag. We're Afghan people, so gotta have the Afghans. And we let them also insulate these windows. So they kind of act as a blocker to keep the warm air in and the cold air out. So to wrap up, the first thing, the most important thing, insulation. Then you're going to need to fill the area you've insulated really well with heat somehow. So I'd recommend a safe indoor propane heater just for a little bit of time. Or if you have the space, get a wood stove. They're fantastic. Ventilation on those is a little risky too, but make sure if you do it properly, there's plenty of sources on YouTube to figure out how to do that. Step 3, windows or any other areas where you might lose heat. Either hang blankets, either hang some really cool curtains like we have. You can get coverings for them. I would just always consider those because there's going to be a time where it's going to get really, really cold and you don't want the windows to be just the thing that all your heat is escaping from.